Hello everybody, welcome back to another $1,000 strap search summary. What I did was I went through $1,000 worth of $1 bills and I pulled out any, obviously I pulled out star notes, I pulled out anything that was from the 2001 series and older. I also pulled out any interesting serial numbers I was able to find. The main goal of me doing this strap search is to try to put together a book of every series printing facility. This one was printed in Fort Worth. You can tell by the FW down there. So I want one from every series, printing facility, and Federal Reserve Bank. So I've been going through $1,000 a week trying to put together that series collection, and yeah, this is the results of one of my hunts. So we're going to start off here. We got a series 2017 star note. Got another 2017 star note. And what I do with these star notes is I go to mycurrencycollection.com, and they've got a star note lookup, and I look up the star notes to determine if any of them are from a low print run. If they are, obviously I save them. If they're not, I use them to replace dollar bills that I take out. So essentially, it gets to the point where I'm putting back star notes for bills that I take out. So there's another 2017A. Now we're moving on to more star notes. These ones are just 2017. Got a couple of those. So this is a 2013B. This one might be low enough. I'm not 100% sure, but in 2013, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing told the Fort Worth facility and the Washington, D.C. facility to print the same serial numbers for New York. So there are 2013 star notes from New York that have the same serial numbers printed from Washington, D.C. and Fort Worth. So those ones, kind of carry a premium. So any of the ones that are in that range, I hold off to the side. More 2013 stars. And here I found this. This will probably go into my collection with the rest of them, but I thought this was kind of an interesting one. Obviously, it says peace really big there. And on the back, it says not to be used for military spending. Thought that was kind of an interesting one. I like to save, anything with like a note stamped into it or something like that. This one I held on to because it's a relatively low serial number. Typically I'd like to see it in the hundreds, but in the thousands, I don't seem to come across those too terribly much. This one I saved because it's got 5 5s, and I don't really see those too terribly often, so I went ahead and saved that one. And this one I saved because it's 6 zeros, and that's one that you really don't see very often. Too bad it wasn't one back, the just 4 and then zeros all the way across. That would have been a really cool find, but that's still pretty neat. I don't come across ones like that very often. So now we're moving into some of the older ones. I saved this one because I wanted to check it against the one that I have in my book and see if this is an upgrade. It's a 2003A, but it's in fairly good shape for being that. It's still got some crispness left to the paper, so I went ahead and pulled that one. Now we're moving into the older ones that I found. This is a 2001 from Atlanta. We got a 1999 from Boston. Another 1999. This one's from Richmond. A 1988A from New York. Another 1988A. This one's from Atlanta. A 1985 from Richmond. A 1995. This one got put out of order. I tried to put them all into order. It should have been after the 1995 or the 1999. Oh well. And I also found this one from 1977A. You don't really find too many from the 70s. These ones are always really few and far between for me to come across. So I'm always excited and always happy to find a 1970s note in circulation. This one's from Chicago. I'm pretty sure I've already got this one in my collection. I don't think I need this one, but still very cool, and it's in really good shape. This is one that's worth me checking against the one that I have in my book and seeing if it's an upgrade. And the oldest one I found this week was a series 1963, which again, I was really happy to see that. You don't typically find too many that are that old. This one's still in really good shape. It doesn't even really, it's got like one crease in the center, but this is in really good shape. And it's got a corner fold there. But this is one that somebody probably took and saved from circulation because it wasn't like the old silver certificates. Before that, the dollar bills had the blue seal and they were silver certificates. They weren't Federal Reserve notes. So somebody probably saw this, thought it was interesting, thought it was new and different, and set it aside for years and years and years. So that's in really good shape. That's always a pleasure to find something that's that old, it's still in that good a shape. So, something else I wanted to mention in this 1995 with this series, and actually these two 1988As as well. But starting in 1988A with this series, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, started experimenting with a different type of press. They started to use web presses instead of the intaglio presses that they've always used and still continue to use today. So what the web press was it was a continuous sheet of paper, like a newspaper, like you see in the movies, when they're printing newspapers, how it's just like one giant sheet. That's for what they call a web press. So in the 80s and 90s, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing experimented with using a web press to make notes instead of the regular intaglio press. So with the web press, since it's a continuous feed of paper, you don't need to denote on the note where in the sheet it came from because there is no sheet. So this right there, this G4 in these notes is there to denote its location in the sheet. So that's column G, the fourth one down. And it's the same with these other 1988As. So if it's a web note, it won't have a location there. So these ones, this 1995, these all have locations. So that's how you can tell that these came from the intaglio presses and not the web presses. Also on the back, that number there it's a plate number for the plate that printed this. The back printing on the dollar bills. So on a web note, the plate number will be up there in the top right corner instead of the bottom right corner. So those are the big differences with the intaglio presses, and it's always something you want to look for because they are worth quite a bit more money than just a regular $1 bill from a web sheet. And I've been hunting bills for a little over a year now, and I've only found 3. So they are pretty hard to find and definitely worth keeping an eye out for. So that was the results of the $1,000 strap search this week. I will come back next week and we will do it all over again, do another $1,000, and I will let you know what we find on the next one. Thank you.